now here to give their report, their chairman's report, is Chris Digiorgio and Mayor Chuck Reed. Guys.
Thank you and welcome back, everybody. We hope you're having a good lunch, enjoyed the music. This is the time in the program where we talk a little bit about joint venture as an organization, the progress we're making, the work that we're doing, and the reason we think it's so important for all of us to continue to stay engaged and stay investing in the organization. I'm joined here by my co-chair, Chris Digiorgio, but also want you to know that we're joined by our many board members. Now, I know I did this morning, but not all of you were here. Not all of them were here, so I want the board members of Joint Venture Silicon Valley, please stand up again. Thanks for your service to our region and your leadership.
Both Mayor Reed and I want you to know that we're very proud of all the work that's happening at Joint Venture. But not only that, we're also very proud that there even is such a thing as Joint Venture. An organization spanning all the sectors and convening us like this, providing a framework to think about the region's problems and act on them together. We think the organization is something that sets Silicon Valley apart, something that we should make us all feel proud and glad that we live here.
At last year's luncheon, Chris and I announced a new effort for Joint Venture. Joint Venture's 20th anniversary, we were launching a campaign to raise $1 million for the organization. The $1 million we were targeting was money above and beyond our normal operating budget that we wanted to use as a special seed fund to expand Joint Venture's capacity. And today, we're happy to report the outcome of that effort.
Yay, that's a round of applause. So our hope was to strengthen the organization in two ways. First, we wanted to add additional staff so that we could have more boots on the ground, cast a wider net, and attract even more members to participate in this organization. The second thing we wanted to do was to expand our analytical capacity of Joint Venture. We learned from our interviews and focus groups that there are people really value the reports that we issue and that there is a large unfulfilled need for objective analysis of regional problems. We saw this as an opportunity to build one of Joint Venture's core competencies and provide even more value to our region in Silicon Valley.
So we began the campaign with ourselves, asking all of our current board members to basically double up. We challenged every board member to double their contribution to the organization. We asked the same of many of our corporate investors. We soon learned how strongly people feel about the value of the organization, and we had nearly 100% participation right off the bat by our board members. And that alone put us nearly halfway towards our $1 million goal. It was a very gratifying and encouraging to see everybody step up.
Then it was time for us to hit the road and tell our story to new partners and investors. These included new companies who decided to come on and join the Joint Venture family and help us with our expansion. And it included some very generous individuals who answered the challenge with their personal funds. But it also included Silicon Valley's leading foundations. We were showing you a slide of the different groups and individuals who participated in the campaign, but I want to stress that these people didn't participate because they're looking for recognition. They were looking to participate because they care about the mission and the vision of Joint Venture and wanted to do their part.
The end result, the bottom line, is we met our goal, $1 million. Thank you all. Thank you. We did it, and we did it together. Many generous groups and individuals, most of whom are in the room today, have collectively amassed $1 million that we will now put into play. Well, really, we're putting it to work, although it will be a lot of fun. We've already begun. The new analytical capacity we mentioned is already coming online. We launched a new institute, which is housed within Joint Venture, the Silicon Valley Institute for Regional Studies. It's already providing data and analysis, such as for the index that you got today. It's already delivering papers on growth and growth management to a number of Silicon Valley cities. It's providing papers on workforce preparation NGO clients, and it's providing analysis for renewable energy and community approaches to solar power generation.
Okay, so the one thing we wanted to do in our report today was update you on the status of our campaign from last year, and now you know the campaign was highly successful. The other thing we wanted to do was to update you, explain how Joint Venture is doing, the work we're doing, and the model we use to engage our region. We want you to know, if you don't already, that you're incredibly active across a number of program areas. They include, for example, initiatives to improve our communications infrastructure, a major initiative to transform El Camino Real and make it a showcase for the best urban planning design. And we also have efforts to improve housing and priority developments on areas like El Camino.
Our initiatives also include work in economic development, a hefty portfolio of projects addressing climate change and sustainability, work to assemble the nation's largest power purchasing pool for public sector solar installations, a major effort to build out the nation's most fully integrated two-way power network. We call that project the Smart Energy Enterprise Development Zone, and it's already underway in the business parks on either side of Melfitt Field. We're working hard to promote the energy storage industry in Silicon Valley as well.
So the problem here is that every one of these projects we've mentioned could be a subject of a conference in and of itself. And in fact, during the year, there are conferences on each of these topics. They are complex problems, and the way we're going about each of them is also complex and multifaceted. And we're talking about them all at once while we're here eating lunch. It just doesn't seem to be practical or feasible. So instead, Mayor Reed and I would encourage you and everyone to visit the joint venture website, where you can find out more detailed information about each of the initiatives, what we're doing, why we're doing it, who's involved, and how we're measuring progress, and what the latest breaking developments are. So jointventure.org website. The website also has a calendar of all the joint venture meetings across the project areas, and everybody in this room is always welcome at any joint venture proceeding.
So that's a very high level and a very brief report of the joint venture activity. Before we step away, though, we have a little bit of a surprise. We're pleased to announce that the joint venture story has been made into a major motion picture. Woo-hoo. And we're going to screen it for you right now, right here.
No matter how hard you try, you can't duplicate Silicon Valley.
Silicon Valley is an extraordinary place. The world has never seen anything like it.
It's still the heart and soul of the innovation economy. More small companies are founded here and grow larger here.
Nowhere else will you find that magical combination of brains, heart, ambition, and the willingness to take a risk.
And part of it is this culture, building community, sharing ideas.
But it's also the great arts institutions that we have here, the great educational institutions that we have here. It's this combination of things that we have in Silicon Valley that actually makes us so unique.
With the capacity for people to come from anywhere in the world, and we focus on what we have in common rather than our differences. You can't duplicate that anyplace else. We're the best at that, and that's the strength of the Valley, and that's what keeps us #1 in the world.
Out of this dynamic environment comes an organization that truly captures the innovative spirit of this place, Joint Venture Silicon Valley.
Joint Venture has worked on everything, and I mean that seriously. There isn't anything that we won't tackle if it has to do with our livability, our competitiveness, our vitality, our ability to grow companies here or to raise families here.
Joint Venture Silicon Valley was founded 20 years ago to confront a looming fear that shrouded Valley leaders.
It was born out of fear. And what were they afraid of? They're afraid of Silicon Valley losing its competitive standing, becoming a has-been. At the time, we were losing out semiconductor competition to the Japanese, and we didn't seem to have a game plan. And not only that, government leaders, business leaders were at odds. They viewed each other as enemies.
Joint Venture Silicon Valley was formed, bringing together business, labor, nonprofits, and elected officials to tackle Silicon Valley's most vexing challenges. Although Silicon Valley has many special purpose organizations that work to promote their industry or business interests, Joint Venture is the only group that unites the entire Valley. Joint Venture is trusted, valued, and respected as a neutral partner.
And not a lot of entities do that. In fact, I can't think of another entity that's exclusive. Existence is based on collaborative movement forward to make a better place for business and labor.
To remain #1, the Valley must constantly innovate. Joint Venture is a reflection of the Valley itself, agile and always seeking out new ideas.
Joint venture is like a startup because startups look for real problems that can be solved, and then they relentlessly go about solving them.
To solve real problems, you need accurate data. For the last 2 decades, Joint Venture has tracked the Valley's vital signs. The Silicon Valley Index is an in-depth analysis of the Valley's economic and social health.
So I think having an independent organization like Joint Venture take a look at the region, whether it's diversity, it's education, employment, and actually publish consistently over years a fact base that allows us to talk about these issues and reach agreement on the facts before we try to develop solutions to problems. I think that's critical.
The index is at the heart of the annual State of the Valley Conference, a town hall meeting where more than 1,200 regional leaders meet every February to talk about how to make the Valley work in the interest of the entire community.
This analytical work has become so important that we're now expanding upon it, and we're creating within joint venture an institute called the Institute for Regional Studies.
The work by the Institute will provide a roadmap for a region that can be a chaotic mix of geographical and political interests.
There's no central government of Silicon Valley. So you need organizations like Joint Venture Silicon Valley Network to do the coordination between the various political jurisdictions and take on issues that branch across all these political jurisdictions.
Few understand this better than Fred Diaz, city manager of Fremont, a city that will be home to the newest section of BART. Fred calls it a metaphor for joint venture's mission.
It's a collaboration between public and private sectors and all coming together for, I think, progress of our entire Bay Area. Problems in and challenges facing Silicon Valley and the Bay Area are significant. Sea level rise, transportation, air quality, these are issues that defy really any single private sector entity or any single government structure. We all need to come together and work on solutions collaboratively.
Joint venture is leading in many, many areas, but in transportation planning, they've really stepped up in a leadership role on this Grand Boulevard initiative. And they're part of the glue of keeping these parties together, these varied interests and parties. When you talk about environmentalists and you talk about developers and labor representatives, elected and appointed officials from 19 cities and 2 counties, to step up and to help promote a vision and work toward the implementation of that vision and do it in a non-threatening way. They've done an extraordinary job.
It's that kind of passion and commitment that joint venture brings to all its initiatives, whether it's building a smart energy network of the future, or leading a regional partnership to ensure the success of businesses in Silicon Valley, or spearheading an initiative to improve notoriously poor wireless service in the Valley. Joint venture is the definition of civic innovation.
So the question is, can we be innovative in the civic arena? And the answer is yes, we can, at Joint Venture Silicon Valley.
Joint venture, building the next Silicon Valley.
All right, what do you think?
Thank you all. We hope you'll make use of this tool. It's posted on our website. Please link to it, send it to your friends and family. Our goal is by next year, this time, when we're at this meeting, we can announce that we have more views than Gangnam Style.
Thank you.